We're going to move on to a segment called Ask an Executive. So we'll make this one Ask an Executive or an Intel Detective. And any questions that you have, throw up in the chat right now. The chat's been on fire. There was a few questions throughout that we may have hit, we may not have hit. But if you have any questions for us, a lot of times you don't have access to executives. Here you have access to two executives with over 65 years of experience and over 40 years of executive experience. So here's your opportunity. Ask us any questions on topic, off topic. We'll be glad to answer it. If you have any questions offline, you want to send it to us and stay anonymous because we obviously know that active members can't really get interactive in the chat. Send any of those questions to the executiveperspective@gmail.com, or you could DM us on X at Exec Perspective. That's us on X. Give us a follow also on the Executive Perspective at Exec Perspective. You can DM us or you can email us. So let's get to that real quick. We have any questions out there because I was off that.
Well, I had QC Beast at 1915. He asked, does SRG and khaki pants survive 2026? So I'll quickly say that I know that the commanding officer of SRG posted earlier today on Facebook that he was retiring 35 years. So, I mean, that could be an indication of his feelings. I don't know personally if he's thinking that, but I truthfully don't think either one of them survive. The khaki pants or SRG completely disbanded. They're the boogeyman as far as Zoran thinks, and protests will be out of control and the city will be out of control. You wouldn't even be able to drive down the streets anymore. That's my take on that there, QC Beast.
I personally don't think that they're going to totally disband the SRG. I think they're going to try to repurpose them. I don't think we can do away with the SRG. They're our disorder control, right? They are our line of defense. And he may try to change the mandate and strongly enforce the settlement agreement that we were forced into under de Blasio and then signed off on by Eric Adams. So I think that they're going to be restricted. Their hands are going to be tied, very much so. But I don't think that they're going to do away with that.
Just think about his base, though. Think about the people that supported him and all those protesters, and he does that. And what does he do? Then people like, oh, yeah, Zoran, he's for the people. So, Marlon, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I don't think he can. I don't think he can, considering how much of those how much of that activity we've seen lately, and I don't think that's stopping either, regardless of whoever's in City Hall. It's been it's working to galvanize the left wing of the Democrat Party. So I don't think it's going to stop either.
All right. Chicken Wing's got a question. Did you ever have a CD that you guys just threw out because you knew it wasn't right? 100%. 100%. There's certain ways that you could address it. It depends if it's in the computer already. It depends on, the supervisor, if they're going to dig their heels into things, or you can just exonerate the officer and just have it disappear because that the boss is just off base. I always told people, the bosses are not right because they're bosses. They have to be right on principle and they have to be right on policy.
Anytime I got a CD, I would always talk to the supervisor that wrote it, just to make an understanding. Like, what was your position on it? What were you looking to accomplish with this CD? Is there other factors that you may have been brought in that you didn't write on the CD? Like what led up to it? Yeah. And if I thought it was BS, I threw it out. It's easy to exonerate. It's easy to to just get rid of. So that's what I did. Marlon, were you ever a recipient of a command discipline?
Yeah, for memo book, missing memo book entry when IB was at the traffic court.
Nah, that's
There was a time
yeah.
when you lost at traffic court and you didn't have an entry. You lost because you missed an entry. The IB would give you a CD with ridiculous measure when it came down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they would give it that those command disciplines would come down with the penalties already on them.
Yeah.
And then we, as commanding officers, we fought with our union. We fought that's unfair, because in the patrol guide it never said that. In the patrol guide, the commander had the discretion that could be a recommended penalty, but it did not have to be adjudicated as such, that the commanding officer can take into consideration everything that they do, the disciplinary history, the work ethics of the member, and everything else. And then they changed the patrol guide.
Yeah. When it doesn't work for them, they change it.
Right.
Hey, Ron, Simply E at 1916 said, executive question: how would you address morale in a command at a time like this? That's a good question.
Very fascinating.
Listen, it's just, tighten up the bootstraps, hang on, and let's see where it goes. We took this job, and that's what I always tell people. You took this job for the right reasons. It's the people that are going to suffer. You have to do your job. You got to go out there. You got to protect these people. You got to try and do the right thing. I understand about being proactive. I have told this. I had this conversation many times on the podcast, on when I sat in on the Finest Unfiltered as well, that before I left, before I got hurt, and when things were going, all this bail reform and everything else, and criminal justice reform was coming into place, I went down and I sat down with Eric and his teams, Eric Dim and his teams in PSA 7, who are out there still every day taking guns off the street from very bad people. And I said, I don't know how you do it. I can't come down here in good conscience and ask you to go out and do this when everything is working against you. But it was just ingrained in them to go out and do it. But, as the boss, I encourage you to do the right thing. But I also changed my mantra when I used to turn out roll calls, because I used to go down and see the troops, and I used to go out to the different commands when I was a borough commander and just address the roll calls and give them support and show them that I was there for them. And I would tell them, first things first is just be tactically sound. Protect yourself tactically. And then I used to say, protect yourself administratively. You're getting paid to be on the job. Do what you have to do. Do the paperwork you have to do, so that the people in these administrative commands can't hurt you when they're looking at your paperwork. Do your paperwork. Do what you have to do. But first and foremost, protect yourself, protect your partner, protect the other cops, then protect the public. Right? And then I had to change that.
Yeah.
Protect your family. You have to be careful what you do in order to maintain and save your pension. And it's sad that had to be added.
I think James Dean, I don't know if you know him, he was CO of the 2-4, and then he ended up being a CO of ESU. He had a good saying. He goes, the waves come in and the waves go out. So the best thing to do is to ride the waves, if you can, So I think that's probably the best advice to raise morale. The other real quick thing I would say is, if anybody wants to leave the NYPD, I'll give them a really nice recommendation. So feel free to ask me.
Marlon, as a member, what would you want to hear from an executive at a time like this?
Well, I think they should come in and let them know that we can't make any changes immediately, but we're working on them right now. We have a new administration, and we're going to hear you out. And we're going to look out for the best interest of the cop on the ground, and, the overall health of the department. And we're just basically to establish open communications and let cops know what's happening and what we're doing.
Yeah, see, there's a problem right there with people that you've worked for in the past. You shouldn't have to open the line of communications. The line of communications should be already open and established so that you have that rapport, so they don't think that you're just blowing sunshine up their ass. You know, you should. That's why I'm saying I used to go out to the roll calls, not when I had to, but just randomly, you know, and talk about things. So
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I also think it's the executive should be honest. You could go out there and say, listen, I don't agree with the current, police commissioner, the current mayor, and the administration, but we'll get through this together. Just be honest. Don't say, oh, the administration's good, the police commissioner is good, they're going to have our back. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. But be honest, because that's what police officers need to hear. They need honesty. Hey, I'm just as scared as you are, but we'll get through this together. And that's what I always say. You got to just be honest with them. And they appreciate that more. So Sleepy Joe asked a question at 19.
I already put this one up. I'll get that one next.
Oh my God. All right.
Sorry, I already popped it up. I'm not gonna take it down.
No, but you're way down already. You didn't go back. You didn't go back to the beginning. But all right, go ahead. I got Sleepy Joe after this.
All right, you got him on deck.
Yep.
All right. Is 1804 Banks a good friend of the podcast? Is school safety going to remain under NYPD with Mayor Mamdani? I don't know. I don't remember hearing anything in his policies or reading anything in his policies about school safety. Do you? No. I don't know where he feels about that, but again, I think we know that he feels that a uniform presence is an overbearing presence, and so I don't know. I mean, they're unarmed. They're under the NYPD. They were removed from school safety under the chief of department, which I agree with. From community affairs, rather, to the chief of department, which I agree with. But as far as taking them back away from the NYPD, I don't know why you would. But I don't know what his policies are. It's a good question. I don't know. And again, I don't remember hearing that during any of the debates, and I don't remember reading that when I read through his policies on his website.
It could easily get pulled in. I was gonna say it could easily be pulled into the Department of Community Safety. I'm thinking, but that's speculation right now because he hasn't said anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna say he's gonna give them social workers. He's gonna put all social workers in there. This way, they get accustomed to social workers coming to their house later on in life.
Are you okay? How was social studies? How was social studies today?
That's it.
Oh,
you can't. Don't bring the gun in. You went through the metal detector with a gun. You have to bring that gun home. It's okay. Relax.
All right. What do you got for Sleepy Joe?
I got Sleepy Joe. He's asking executive question. What's up with those scarecrow highway cars doing random highways? Is that the cars where they park a car and pretend that they're in there? And that lasts for like a day, right? Then everybody realizes it's a BS highway car sitting on the side of the highway. And personally, I think there's a liability there because God forbid you get in an accident, you got somebody hurt. Somebody runs over there and thinks that there's a police officer that's going to help them. I need an ambulance. And then there's a scarecrow sitting there. They used to put the dummies with the police hats inside their cars,
I laugh because this has been going on for so long. When I was younger, I used to drive down to my parents in North Carolina a lot. And in Virginia, on this one downhill, was it Virginia or Tennessee? Was it either Virginia or Tennessee? And there was always an RP in the center median that you saw. And then when you roll up on it, you see the scarecrow with the hat, sitting there, and it's a plant. And the thing was there forever. But to be honest with you, it got me every time. I mean, the locals might know it's there, but anybody else traveling through, it got me every time. Every time, and then now it'll be on Waze, police in, a half a mile or whatever the case may be. And people are always going to put that in there. And that's the thing too, is where, with Waze and everything else, it tells you where the police are. and I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to putting out these bait cars either. You know, these scarecrow cars or phantom cars or ghost cars or whatever. I don't know what you want to call them. I don't know what they're called in department lingo nowadays. I'm not opposed to it. I understand what you're saying, Rob, but you know, it does slow people down. It does make people cautious. It does make people put in ways that there's a police car there, which is going to slow people down a quarter of a mile away because they're going to be approaching it and they don't want to get hit with the LiDAR or the radar or whatever the case may be. So I'm not opposed to it, and that's what it's for. It's to slow traffic down. But yeah, they got to move them around, and you know.
And then cops in a command can't get a sector car, but they got cars sitting out on the highway, and then you got all the morons that jam their brakes on because all of a sudden they don't have Waze, and all of a sudden they see a police car there. It's like, oh my God.
I know we're going real long because I just got a text from a very dedicated listener in the bloodline who said, "It's time for Survivor. I'll see you later."
Oh my God.
That still goes on.
Priorities. Your son's show or Survivor. But any other questions we got?
That's all I got.
Let me just scroll down to the end here. Let's see if I got anything new.
You know what the other thing with those ghost cars is? They sit there and they get dirty.
Yeah.
After a while, the car it's like an embarrassment. It's like you drive by that car, it's all full of mud and stuff. They should at least go out and wash it the next time before they move it and stuff. So I got MDRN Samurai, I'm sorry, says, what was your favorite command to work at?
Wow. That's tough. I was only at one command as a police officer before I went to narcotics, so that's unfair. I enjoyed being a sergeant. I think it's really tough. That's tough. Somebody else go. Let me think.
Well, for me, I mean, it's Martin's Samurai. Sorry. I would have to say emergency service unit, and why? Because it was fun. We were always running around. The guys and gals there were great. You know, they understood the job, and I tell you, it was the first time in the NYPD where people would come up to you. You know, it could be police officers, it could be chiefs. They would come up to you and thank everybody that you did a good job. And for me, that was unheard of. I never heard I did a good job. So it was an enlightening time. And but I tell you the truth, every command that I was in, I had fun. And what makes it fun is the men and women that you work with. And that's the most important thing, you know. So and you have to laugh. You have to kid around and laugh. You know, because that makes the job itself. Because we all know, you know, there's a lot of funny things happen, and just the same reason why we love this chat, like TC and Sleepy Joe and Simply E, all of them have a great sense of humor, and the stuff they put in. That's why, Ron, sometimes you see me cracking up, right? Because I'm reading something in the chat. It's just, you know, the sense of humor that police officers have, and it's just amazing. You know, they make it enjoyable. So
yeah, I mean, I had a great time in the 7-0. I loved being a sergeant in the 7-8. I loved the people I worked with in the 7-8. I was there for 3 years, but I did a lot of different things there. I have a affinity for the 7-8 also. I was there during 9/11. You know, and then, you know, I was an executive for you know, 25 and a half of my 30 and a half years. So, you know, as an executive, I loved being a commanding officer of both of my commands. They were both very different, the 111 and the 110, but being an executive and being a commanding officer is a great privilege, and you love it, and you're so glad it's over when it's over because it's so demanding. but I think even as an executive, the place that I enjoyed the most when I was the commanding officer of the borough crime and what's called the blast unit, the burglary, larceny, apprehension, suppression team, those guys did such an amazing job. The work ethic that they put out, the collars and the cases that they built as just patrol were amazing. The technology that we used was so much fun. We would GPSing cars and following guys and stuff. So it was a lot of fun working there. So it's tough for me. I came to enjoy almost every place I worked. I'll give the exception of candidate assessment. That was a grind every day. I really enjoyed a lot of the people I worked with there, but that was the toughest place I ever worked. But we won't go down that rabbit hole at all. Marlon, go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I had a very short career, as you guys know, but I love the FIO program, and I still do. And if I had a chance to have gotten my shield there, I would have never left and gone into Intel proper. So if you're a young guy who's watching us right now, from my perspective as a cop, work your way to the FIO's office, and you'll have a lot of fun there, and you'll learn a lot there, and you have many branches to take your career from there. So
what's Hassan saying? I'm pointing at you like you're a skull. Is he trying to catch up to you?
Earlier when you were pointing at the QR code.
QR code.
If I was any closer, you would have poked me in the eye. Thanks, Hassan. I appreciate you looking out for me. King Gerbo has a question at was it 20:05 hours?
All right, I'll put Pete back. 1 second. We'll do two more.
All
we
right.
Gotta get going. Who is it?
King Gerbo.
Do you guys think there are too many female cops on the streets? Serious question. No. I listen. I have no problem if you're female, you're male, if you're feminine or masculine. I know John and Eric talk about the masculine traits of police work and everything else, and that's true. You need to be able to handle yourself. I have worked with some phenomenal female officers throughout the years. I could name some female officers that I would much rather be in an R&P with than some of the male officers I've worked with over the years. So unfortunately, you see some of the things that on the street where female officers are getting overpowered or whatever because they're not prepared to take care of business and do what needs to get done in the street. But there are males that we see daily and day out on videos also. So I'm not going to say that there are too many female cops on the street whatsoever.
I'm
not for 30 for 30 where we have to really put more. We want to increase, because that's a DEI thing, and we want to increase the number of female officers just for the sake of increasing them, not because that they're the qualified officers. I'm for putting qualified officers, no matter what you are, who you are, where you're from, on the streets.
See, the female officers that came into emergency service,
top notch.
They passed the same standards that everybody else did. So my thing is, if you can pass the standards, I would take 1,000 women as long as you pass the test and you pass what's required of you, and you get through it. Then I agree that they should be out in the street too. I have no problem with that at all. And believe me, some of the female officers in emergency service, I'd rather have them lead bunker than some of the guys. So I mean, they did a phenomenal job, and they weren't afraid to do the job. So no, I agree. It to me, it doesn't matter. Again, whatever sex you are, whatever color, creed, if you can do the job and you pass the standards, that's what has to be done. When we lower the standards, then I have problems with it. The standards should never be lowered. Marlon, what do you think about that?
No, I think you guys covered it. I agree 100%. As long as you could do the job, it doesn't matter.
Let's wrap it up with Peter Miller. Do you guys? I don't want Marlon to go down a rabbit hole with this one. Do you guys think the pensions for retired MOS are safe under Mandami? I know Marlon's not going to agree with me. I think that the pensions are secure. I think that the pensions, the state is going to have to go under for us to lose our pensions. Is it possible? Nothing's impossible. Our pension system is structured differently than some other cities and other unions throughout the country that have lost their pension benefits or had serious declines in their pension benefits because of the insolvency of their municipality. So I'm not concerned.
Marlon, let me jump in before you. I'll say, because I'll say where there's a will, there's a way. And if they want that pension and they want to use that money, just like they change the investments into some of these social programs, they will do it. So I say there is no way that your pension is secure. I think that they can change things and they will if they want to. That's my personal opinion. So I don't trust them. No, I don't trust them at all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. We talked about it with Eric earlier this morning, but you should look up the terms real and nominal value, and your answer is there, because the question is pension adjusted for inflation or in nominal value. So
I always thought the pension was a Ponzi scheme. Like how am I getting 8% when the economy was tanking and everything else? But I'm a guaranteed 8%. I says this sounds to me like they're just floating paper and showing me that there's an increase when there isn't. So I was always a little scared of it anyway. So.
You've just watched a clip from our live episode. Click the description to watch the full episode. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this.